Hi, I'm Nick, and welcome to the Fusion Space, and today's episode of Storytime, Superman vs. Aliens. My last episode, Batman vs. Predator, was so much fun that I had to keep going, and 1995 saw the next great crossover between DC and Dark Horse. Superman vs. Aliens was written by my favorite monthly Superman writer, Dan Jurgens, perhaps best known for largely plotting the death and return of Superman arcs and creating the cyborg Superman. He worked on the main self-titled book Superman from the 80s through at least the 2000s and shaped much of the world and helped define the character for my generation. He also did the art layouts on this book, an unusual thing for a writer, and let other artists handle the finished pencils. This is classic Dan Jurgens Superman to me, and I do think it's pretty indicative of the monthly comic from the time, and in a good way. Personally, I think the Superman books were never better than in the 90s, when there were 4 interlinked books telling one continuous story co-created by the 4 writing and art teams. At any point you jump into that era, you're going to find good comics made by DC's top talent, as Superman was their flagship character, and actually had 5 books at his peak, one being a quarterly book that only came out in 4 gaps that used to be skip weeks, so there were 52 Superman comics a year, one coming out every week and updating the same world. It made Metropolis feel very real and permanent to me for years. Sorry for the personal tangent, but 90s Superman will eventually be a large presence on this channel, and it's sort of beginning here. See my 200 subscribers special for why he's so important to me. Clark Kent and Lois Lane are invited to report on a Lexcorp shuttle launch when a crashing space capsule requires the help of Superman. A connection to Krypton involves him in the mission to investigate the source of the capsule, a domed colony on an asteroid in space. Now if this is sounding a bit familiar to you, there's a reason for that. And I feel like you'll enjoy the story more if I explain a bit of context here. This is a version of Argo's city, and Clark will meet a young blonde girl named Kara, and this is the writers directly teasing the non-existence of Supergirl as a character. Supergirl had not appeared as her Kryptonian version since Crisis on Infinite Earths, having only the shape-shifting Matrix version during the 90s, but they would occasionally tease the return of the real Supergirl. Situations like these should be seen as the universe almost trying to correct itself, echoing something it knows should exist, but which does not, and it is both tinged with sadness for what is lost and hope for what might return. Okay, moment over. Back to the introduction. Superman travels to the asteroid and the domed city, finding that his powers are fading as soon as he gets there, and will continue to fade as long as he remains. He meets a young girl and discovers all that remains of the colony, which has been infested with xenomorphs. Clark doesn't realize what he's done by sending a ship of survivors back to the moonbase near Earth, but Lois and the Lexport space crew will soon find out, as both Clark and Lois will be hard-pressed just to survive the encounter with the aliens and contain the infections. Let's begin. Not so long ago in our history, events that transpired in the silent vacuum of space went unnoticed by man. Times change. Satellites were launched into orbit to act as sentries, ever alert for approaching interlopers. The mission was a simple one. Sound the alarm. Boop, boop. We've got a bogey crashing the atmosphere. Alert Dr. Kimball at once. Any idea why we've been called here, Lois?
Zip. But even though Lex Luthor is no longer at the helm, Lexcorp is still the most powerful business entity in Metropolis. If they want a spur-of-the-moment appointment with the press, they get it.
Ah, Miss Lane, Mr. Kent, Dr. Kimball is waiting for you on the roof.
Ever met this mysterious Kimball, Lois?
Never. If I remember my Lexcorp organizational charts correctly.
And I'm sure you do.
Kimball is the head of Lexcorp's space program.
Not good.
Tell me about it. This private corporation has a space program that may exceed NASA's.
What troubles me is that it's buried in secrecy. Outside these walls, I doubt there's a person alive who has the lowdown on this program.
Thanks, Clark. You've just given me an idea for my next series of stories designed to net a Pulitzer.
Hey, what if I...
Not now. We're here.
Clark and Lois are greeted by Dr. Cheryl Kimball and take a helicopter from the roof. She's not pleased to have reporters along, but her boss insisted. In flight, Clark learns from Dr. Kimball that they've been receiving signals from an approaching spacecraft, and upon hearing it, he recognizes the Kryptonian language. He can't make out any words with all the static, but knowing Krypton is involved makes it Superman's business over Lexcorp, and the craft will splash down in less than 3 minutes. He uses an invisible low-level heat vision on the helicopter's control panel and causes it to overheat, forcing the pilot to land on a small beach.
Well, I did. Checked it over good before we left. Now I wonder what the hell went wrong.
Thought I saw a road nearby. Maybe I can get help.
Relax, Kent. I'll have this baby flying in no time.
You'll have to forgive my colleague. When he gets it in his mind to do a job, he does it.
Hidden in the trees, Clark Kent changes to Superman. I'm 100 feet off the ground before anyone can reply to Lois. I feel a sense of urgency and excitement. A spacefaring craft from Krypton? What if there's someone on board? If there is someone inside, they're in trouble. The craft hit the atmosphere at the wrong angle. It's coming in hard and fast, and burning up as a result. Have to catch it and guide it. Clark hits the craft. Oof! Can't slow it down. Markings? They look like Kryptonian markings. It's moving too fast for him to do much, and they both plunge into the water. Got it. It's in tough shape. Half the components must have melted, and it took in a lot of water. Somehow I get the feeling that it's dying. Superman flies the capsule back up and places it on the Lexcorp ship. Holy crow! It's Superman! Lexcorp has official rules that says we ain't supposed to talk to you, but I gotta say, it's a real honor to have you on my boat. Stay back. For all we know, this thing might blow up. Feel compelled to touch it. Contact. The probe strikes an instant telepathic link. Garbled messages and fragmented images bombard my mind, melding in a flash, allowing me to hear its message before it's too late. I glimpse a planet. Krypton? People, scientists discussing the planet's impending doom, and they have an idea, a way to survive. They build a dome over a city and plant explosive charges at key geographic points beneath it. When the planet explodes, it stays intact and is pushed into space. The city is still out there. Their resources are exhausted. They're dying. Then, a location, directions, and contact is broken. The power is gone. It's dead.
Superman, what the hell have you done to my discovery?
If it had survived re-entry, its message would have died at the bottom of the ocean when the power ran out.
I want to know what that message was, Superman. Word for word.
Can't trust her with the possible Kryptonian connection. This is a distress buoy. It was sent by the remnants of a city that desperately needs help.
We have ships that could get us to that city. Tell me how to get there, and I'll give them what they need in exchange for their technology.
No one goes but me, Doctor. As soon as you realize that, we can work something out. Takes 2 days to work out the details. In exchange for transportation to the space city, she expects first look at all the technology I bring back. I agree, praying I won't bring back anything Lexcorp can turn into weaponry. We've given Superman a crash course on the operation of the ship. He's ready to go.
You're lucky, Superman. You and Lane are the first civilians to ever walk the halls of this space station, and Lane never would have been included if you hadn't insisted.
It's important for this to be reported to the world, Dr. Kimball. Not to mention the fact that I knew Lois would do something reckless to get here on her own.
I envy you, you know. You're doing something I've always dreamed of, a journey through space, traveling to another planet. Please, let me come along. How about me? I can cover this story much better if I'm actually there.
Sorry, Miss Kimball. Lois, I have to do this one alone. Wish me luck.
Good luck, Superman. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Lexcorp and Superman have never been the best of friends, but still, I wish you success. The ship handles like a dream. Thanks to the assistance of the technicians in programming the guidance systems, I hardly have to do anything at all. Gives my mind a chance to wander. I think of myself as human, a native of Earth. Even if there are other Kryptonians out there, that won't change. When Krypton blew up, I was only a fetus in the matrix chamber that carried me to Earth, where I was born. The Kents found me, raised me, made me the man I am today. But I did meet other Kryptonians once. That other universe, a pocket universe, I guess, had a benevolent Lex Luthor in it. He freed 3 Kryptonian natives of that parallel universe from some kind of stasis zone they were in. But they were as evil gets. They laid waste to the Earth of that dimension, turning it to a desolate, barren sphere. I couldn't let them do the same in my universe, to my Earth. So I exposed them to their native type of kryptonite. They died. Now I can't help but wonder what I'll find out here. If there are other Kryptonians there,
I don't want to be faced with this same situation again. Killing those people was the worst thing I ever did. I was in agony, tortured to the soul. Though the people I killed only existed at the whims of a being known as the Time Trapper, I'd betrayed the core of my being. I'm no killer. It's a measure of desperation that I will never resort to again, no matter how deadly the threat. Hyperspace. I'll arrive at the city soon.
Dr. Kimball?
We copy you, Superman. Our telemetry screen shows you as nearing your destination. You should have it in visual any second.
Got it. It's just like the probe communicated to me. A domed city on the remnants of a planet.
I don't tell Kimball what affects me most. The city looks Kryptonian.
Clark leaves the ship and flies toward the city.
Weird. It's a bit of an atmosphere here, probably artificially generated. Cold, though. We're far from any sun. My body acts like a solar battery, storing and processing energy in the vicinity of a sun. I'm weaker now, a side effect that will continue.
The city appears deserted from above. Clark finds scratches on the doors as if something tried to claw its way in, and crude barriers erected in entrance tunnels. The walls are blocking his X-ray vision due to lead and his weakening powers. He finds a crashed bus with a few survivors inside.
Humanoids. Still alive, too. Not by much, though. They need help. And they need it now. I can't tell if they're Kryptonian, but no matter what, I'd say their best chance for survival is Earth. Despite the thin atmosphere, I move the 4 survivors into my ship. They're unconscious and near death. For all I know, they won't survive the journey to Earth, but it's my only option.
Dr. Kimball?
What have you found, Superman?
Survivors, in tough shape. I programmed the ship to bring them back to you.
This is not a MASH unit. I want the technology, Superman, not patience.
As soon as you've offloaded these people, send the ship back, Dr. Kimball. Until then, I'll stay put.
But you'll be stranded.
Lois's words hang in the air for an eternity. With my powers fading, she's right. For now, this desolate rock is home. Might as well give this transport a going over to see if I can determine what happened. Those people were trying to get away from someone or something. Clark finds a dead facehugger.
Interesting. Some kind of crab. Dead now. Maybe this was the thing that was trying to claw its way into the city. Unfortunately, no way to know now.
Unwilling to breach the dome, Clark tunnels underneath to try and find a way into the city, and he finds an egg chamber.
Cavern? What is all this? Some kind of strange rock formations? Systematic in organization, yet organic in appearance. Nothing like that on the Krypton I've learned about. Seems weird, unsettling, creepy. More and more, this place seems to reek of death.
As Superman wanders into the darkness, a xenomorph stalks him.
What's this? Some kind of viscous substance?
Clark finds dripping green xenomorph blood.
Whoa, burns. Like an acid?
The xenomorph attacks Superman, slashing at him and hissing. What the hell are you?
No answer, but Ugly moves so incredibly fast, we end up in the dirt.
They tumble together until Superman kicks the alien free.
No matter, though. Looks fairly harmless. I'll clear some room and try to reason with him.
Wait, I know you've never seen me before, but I'm no threat. I'm here looking for other beings who look like me.
Holy. Coming after me anyway, huh? Guess you didn't understand what I said. For all I know, you aren't even intelligent.
The xenomorph slashes the S off Superman's chest.
Yow! You cut me!
Superman hurls it away. His chest is bleeding.
Get off!
Because of his weakened powers, the alien is a real threat.
Didn't want to resort to punching out a life form that's probably just trying to protect its territory from a stranger. But if it won't listen to reason, it's going down.
He punches the xenomorph in its elongated head.
That takes care of that.
Didn't expect anything like that thing. Sure didn't look Kryptonian. What's going on here? What the...
The alien grabbed Superman's neck with its tail.
You should have quit when you had the chance. I can keep your jaws propped open until...
Superman holds its jaws open right in front of his face.
Ah!
A second set of jaws spring out from the alien's mouth and bite Clark in the head.
Face feels like I went a couple more rounds with Doomsday. Time to take off the gloves. Try to cut him. Wound him enough to slow him down.
Superman uppercuts the creature hard enough to break its skin and is doused in green blood.
My eyes! Blood. It's like some kind of acid. Have to move.
He drops the creature and it springs onto his back, smashing Clark's head into the ground. He elbows it from below and backfists it off of him.
Eyes feel like someone's pushing needles in them. Can't see anything but blurs. Heat vision doesn't work. I'm really messed up. Good thing I still have a healthy degree of invulnerability or... Ugh!
The Xeno lifts Superman by the throat and slashes his chest again.
You just don't quit, do you?
When suddenly Clark hears a voice.
You in the colors! Move back!
That voice. Speaking Kryptonian.
He backs away as energy blasts strike the creature and...
Yes!
And Superman punches it away.
No more! No more!
Stay back, mister. It's about to get a little warm around here.
A young blonde girl rescues Superman with a flamethrower. As they escape, she explains that there are millions more of the creatures on the rock. She doesn't understand why the acid didn't kill him, but Clark explains that he's from somewhere else and has special abilities as she bandages his eyes.
Stuff really burns. The light just seems to irritate it even more.
Try this. Normally we treat these strips with an herbal medication. Our medicines have been gone for years. How did you find out about us?
Distress buoy.
You mean one of those things finally worked? Those were launched years ago. Hundreds of them. Before I was born.
So long. But how did this get so out of control? What happened here? Here in...
This place was called Argo City.
Argo?
Yep. Nowhere else could be this bad. No supplies, hardly any food. Those monsters have wiped out most everybody. So what should I be calling you?
Cal. Call me Cal. And you?
Kinda like yours. I'm Kara.
No!
As the survivors in Superman's ship head back to Earth in the moonbase, an alien bursts from one of the men's chests.
Condition red. Condition red.
Will somebody please shut that thing off?
Collision imminent. Collision imminent. Alarm system terminated, Dr. Kimball. But that doesn't change the situation. The survivor ship that Superman said is going to ram us in less than 2 minutes.
Impossible.
The ship's guidance system is fully automated. It should land itself in our docking bay.
Oh, it'll land all right. We just won't be alive to talk about it.
You're an observer here, Lane. If you want to stay, you'll have to keep your opinions to yourself.
Dr. Kimball takes manual control of the shuttle by remote and guides it safely into a hangar bay, averting disaster for the moment.
The decontamination procedure is complete. I want you medics in there now. The process took 10 minutes. If any of those people were badly injured, it might have been enough to kill them. Too late for this one. The way his chest is torn apart, the controls must have exploded and really ripped him up. Oh, man. 3 of them are unconscious, but alive. Get them to the infirmary. Double quick.
Is it okay if I stay here to look over the ship?
Fine. I'm not letting these people out of my sight.
Of course you won't. You can't wait to pick their brains for some key scientific discovery that'll make your career. I'm more interested in this ship. Without it, Clark is stranded on that barren asteroid. And I can't shake the feeling that he's in real danger. These controls don't look like they exploded. They look like they were torn apart by a gorilla. And this slimy substance. Weird. Unearthly.
Unseen by Lois or anyone else, a xenomorph slinks into the shadows.
That ship sat here, isolated for 10 minutes before we got to it. What did that cost us? And most of all, what's happening to Clark? This way, Cal. There's a makeshift med room right around the corner.
Lead the way, Kara. Kara leads Clark to a medical bay and treats his eyes. Along the way, she explains that the colony ran out of food and supplies even before the aliens happened along, but together, they quickly decimated the population. Clark wants to know more, but it's hard for Kara to talk about. She's had a depressing 16 years of life here on Argo.
See, 8 years ago we thought we'd bottomed out. We were totally isolated on this rock and pretty much out of hope. Our distress boys hadn't attracted the rescuers we prayed for. Our machinery, generators, computers, and food synthesizers were dying at a very speedy rate. We didn't have the raw materials necessary to repair them. With people starving and our infrastructure collapsing, our society began to do the same. Argo's ruling council faced the worst kind of revolt, that of a starving populace. Our hopes were ignited when we finally spotted an approaching space freighter. But the ship came in hard and fast and crashed not far from the city. We were all distraught, but we hoped there might be materials we could use to survive. We sent out a scout team, and they found that the entire crew of the ship was dead before it even crashed. We had no idea why. They also found a cryogenic unit inside the ship. Inside was an egg-laying ugly, a queen. They assumed she was dead and of no use. In time, they stripped the ship of everything we could use and left it. It should have been left forever. But a couple of years later, some idiot decided to check up on the abandoned freighter. He'd heard the rumors about the dead beast on board and thought it might be something that could be carved up and eaten. He shut off the cryogenic unit and let it heat up. Turns out the queen wasn't dead. Neither were her eggs. For us, that day marked the beginning of the end.
It's not the end yet. I won't accept that. There must be a way to save what's left.
Yeah, a 2 million man army with heavy firepower might do the job.
Hold on. I have to try something. Superman flies into the air.
How can you do that? You don't even have armor pack.
Like I said, I have some special talents, but I intended to fly a lot higher and faster. We're so far from the sun, my body has lost a lot of energy. At best, I'm at 20% efficiency. You can't be the only survivor here, Kara. Where are the others?
There are only a handful of us left. Come on, I'll show you what's left of the city of Argo.
Those eggs are the queens. How are they able to breed into such a threat?
The uglies can adapt to just about any environment imaginable, and they can breed as much as they want, as long as they have enough hosts. See, the aliens start out as hand-sized creatures that pop out of the eggs. They find a face to lock onto, impregnate a human being with an embryo in the gut, who will later break its way out. Gruesome stuff, you know?
I saw one of those. It was next to the survivors that I sent to Earth. Oh my God. What have I done?
Our exam wasn't in depth, but from what we can tell, he's perfectly healthy, Dr. Kimball. If only we could understand what he's saying. Take the exam to the next level. MRI, X-rays, the works.
Ah! That scream.
He doesn't sound healthy to me, Doctor. Do something.
It appears to be his stomach. Could be a reaction to the station's atmosphere.
No, it's more than that. Look at his chest.
Oh, no. A screeching alien bursts from the man's chest as he screams and dies.
What is it?
It was inside his body.
Look out! Catch it! Catch it!
Too late. It's gone. Now we know what happened to the others on the way here. We have to assume there are 2 of those creatures running loose on this station.
We should also assume that the other two survivors are in the same condition.
Isolate them. At least the two that escaped are small. They shouldn't be much of a threat.
What's the big rush? You're running around like a madman. You don't even know where you're going.
I have to find a ship, some way to get back to Earth.
Haven't you been listening to me? There's no way off this rock. If there was, we would have used it years ago.
We have to find a way, and we have to do it fast. My people are supposed to send that ship back for us, but if I send those creatures to Earth, I've got a feeling we'll never see it.
Gunfire! Coming from the box!
The box?
That's the last safe place on Argo. The uglies must have finally found it. We have to get there, but it's an hour's run.
I can get us there faster. At least I think I can. Hang on. Clark picks up Kara and flies with her to the box.
Wow, this is great.
I don't tell her that it's taking every bit of effort I can summon to do this. And as much as I want to help her, I'm even more concerned about Lois.
You're sure that'll tell us what happened?
The computer records everything that happened in the ship's cockpit, Miss Lane. If one of those little critters Kimball told us about was inside, we'll soon know all about it.
If one of those monsters really did burst out of that man's chest, then Superman is in terrible danger. How long before the ship can be repaired and sent back to him? Davis, what's... Oh!
The scientist had been impaled by an alien's tail and lifted off the ground before a stunned Lois.
What? Can't talk. The words won't come. Legs frozen. Can't move. Can't run.
It dropped the scientist.
What are you?
It takes us nearly 5 minutes. By the time I get us there, I feel so exhausted I'm almost a normal human.
I was right. The uglies found the box. Find a gun and start blasting, Cal. Blow those buggers to hell.
Kill them? She doesn't understand. The price I paid when I killed once before. It's not necessary. Never the last resort. But these creatures are so incredibly ferocious. And my powers are nearly gone. This gun seems quite capable of evening the odds. Of killing them. No! Clark hurls the gun away just before an alien attacks him from behind. He slams his back into it and throws it forward. You want my head, don't you? Kara says you guys are bothered by heat. Superman blasts the xenomorph with his heat vision. Takes everything I have just to fire a low-intensity blast.
I could use a little help over here.
Kara!
Shoot him!
No! I can handle these guys. Clark rams the Xeno attacking Kara.
Are you nuts? They'll tear you to shreds.
Not if I move fast enough and hit them hard enough. The creature grabs his head. He moves quicker than I expected. Should have kept the gun.
Can't breathe.
Kara! Strangling her with the tail. Stretch. Got it! Have to pull as hard as I can. And make sure I dodge that acid. He's beaten, wounded into unconsciousness, and I didn't have to kill him to do it.
He's only 1 out of 100. You might feel good about being a saint, Cal, but I'm out to win a war. I finally get my legs moving, just in the nick of time, too. That thing, that alien, looks like it has every intention of tearing my head off. Have to...
Lois scrambles away, but finds the doors automatically locked due to the unknown creature's presence.
No, I'm locked in. Lane to command center. If you don't open these doors, I'll never write another column again. We can't. The computers have detected an unknown biological entity. They're programmed to seal all contaminated compartments.
But we can override the computers, just like we did when you brought the chip in. Dr. Kimball? I never heard your suggestion, mister. And you better see to it that it never shows up on the record. Talk about fast. Only one place to hide.
Lois dodges the alien's claw and makes for the ship.
Move your butt, Lois. Move it.
She climbs into the canopy.
Now what? The canopy. How do I close the canopy? Where's the switch? What would it look like? No choice. Should be as simple as my PC.
Lois closes the canopy just in time.
Got it. What a lucky stiff. All I've succeeded in doing is buying some time. That canopy won't last long with that monster pounding on it. If I keep playing with the buttons, I might get the airlock force shield open.
The airlock opens and the ship is drawn towards it.
Lucky again. Luck's gotta run out. Let go, you ugly son of a... Let go! Now I have a new problem. The pull of the vacuum is so strong that it's pulling the ship out of the airlock. Smart woman. Close that airlock. I do not want that creature sucked into space where we'll never get it back.
The doors begin to close on the ship, stuck halfway out.
No! It's in!
The airlock doors close on the ship, shearing off parts of it and sealing the xenomorph out in space.
Thank God. I made it. Why did they close the airlock, though? Did they do it to save me? Did the computers do it? Or did Kimball do it with the intention of saving the alien? She certainly seemed like the type who'd value discovery of a new life over the existence of an old one. And if this creature is typical of what Clark's experiencing, how will he ever survive?
Superman uses his waning strength and Kara uses her flamethrower to fight back the alien hordes along with the few colonists who remain.
Been fighting for almost an hour and they show no sign of letting up. These creatures are relentless. If something doesn't break soon. Wait. One of the grenades on this belt is leaking. Going to blow any second. Huh.
Clark throws the belt of grenades into the xenomorphs.
Good move, Cal. You've just given me a perfect knockout punch.
Kara shoots it.
The creatures go down like plastic bowling pins, but it doesn't help much. There are too many here and more coming. Retreat is our only option. Kara, get all your people in one location. I'm getting you out of here now. Made it. Where are the rest?
Dead. He and I are the only ones left.
Oh. Okay, hang on. I think I can fly us out of here.
You think? That doesn't exactly inspire confidence.
I don't mention that flying is no longer an option. All I can do now is jump.
Superman leaps into the air with Kara and her friend.
Fortunately, I can jump pretty high. For the first time I realize the man's in tough shape. It's one of those moments that makes me wish I had some real medical skills. But even if I did, it probably wouldn't help.
No! Don't you dare leave me alone! I don't want to be the last one!
He's gone. She thinks she's the last survivor of an entire planet. I know exactly how she feels. Strange. She's distraught because she feels she's the last of her kind, while I'm elated to find another Kryptonian. When the time is right, when I know we're safe, I'll tell her where I'm really from. First, we have to get past those killing machines. Vision powers don't work much now, but I can still see well enough to know there are hundreds in the city and thousands outside. The odds are overwhelming. If Lexcorp doesn't send their ship back here soon... What the...
Just then, Superman sees the xenomorphs pierce the dome in the city. The contained atmosphere bursts out and fires erupt within the city as fuel lines explode. The tower Clark is standing on crumbles and falls, taking him down with it, no longer able to fly. He just has to hope he's invulnerable enough to survive the falling rubble. Kara sees him fall.
Cal!
Clark bursts free of the rubble and begins to search for Kara, but is unable to find her.
Kara? Answer me, Kara! Kara! She has to be alive. I must find her. Have to get to her before those creatures...
Too late! Not now! Get off me!
He's attacked by an alien.
I said get off! Kara, don't worry, I'll... Do nothing. Too many. Scratching, clawing, biting. Kara, sorry.
Superman is overwhelmed by a wave of the creatures and loses consciousness. He awakens in a deep cave.
Head hurts. Where? No. Oh no.
He is trapped in a gooey substance on the wall of the Queen's egg chamber.
These must be the eggs Kara mentioned, and that thing over there has got to be the Queen. I have to get loose. I know what happens next. It's opening. Not me. You won't get me.
Clark gets a hand free as a facehugger emerges from the egg and leaps at him. It latches on.
My throat. It's forcing something down my...
Clark calls me a survivor. The day Perry hired me, he told me I had spunk. Whatever I've got, I'm going to need it all today. Weird, deadly aliens are loose on Lexport, and they've got to be stopped at any cost. It's them or us. Look at that. 2 more of the creatures are emerging right before our eyes. This could be the most incredible boon to Lexcorp's Weapons Research Division ever. Ah! Once those creatures have emerged from their hosts, they will grow into life forms that are very nearly invulnerable. Even their blood has acidic properties we can use. Don't be an idiot, Kimball. We've got to get rid of those horrors while we have the chance. I fought one of those creatures and was damn lucky to survive. They're dangerous. Too dangerous. Forget it, Lane. That room is sealed tight. We'll control the creatures. Learn from them as we would any other discovery. But those people are beyond hope, Lane. There's nothing we can do to prevent those incredibly powerful little organisms from being born. Maybe not, but there is something we can do. Lane, get back here! To stop them from growing up! Just what the doctor ordered.
Lois rushes into the room and starts a fire with an aerosol can and a match. It soon engulfs the baby xenomorphs.
Let's see you survive that, you little monsters. You stupid, meddling fool! This is not some ridiculous morality play about who deserves to live and who deserves to die. This is science. No, this is justice. Here's your justice.
Dr. Kimball hits Lois, knocking her down.
Ah! You've hampered our efforts, but you haven't killed them. Somewhere on this station, a fully grown adult alien full of incredible biological secrets is waiting for me.
Dr. Kimball grabs a gun from the weapons locker.
And I'll find those secrets, right after I've reduced you to nothing more than a bad memory.
Dr. Kimball aims the gun at Lois as the xenomorph stalks the shadows behind her.
Feel wrong. Feel upside down. Unconscious. Have to come out of it. What happened? Oh, yeah. That thing latched onto my face. Tried to force something down my throat. Then I blacked out. But it looks dead. It failed. Uh-oh. How do I get out of this?
The xenomorphs close in around Superman, when suddenly he hears a familiar voice.
Back off, Uglies, or I'll turn you all to ash.
Kara, materializing out of thin air? How the...
Transport unit.
You developed that kind of technology?
One side, Cal. Not me. Remember that alien ship that brought these beasties here in the first place? The transport unit was one of the things we dug out of the wreckage. It has limited range and its power is almost drained, but it delivers the goods. Hang on. This pocket controller will zap us out of here and put us back together in the main unit.
Hurry, they look hungry.
Beep. Boo.
Tell me that doesn't mean what I think it does.
No power. The main unit is dead. And so are we. Weird. They aren't attacking. In fact, they're getting out of our way. But that doesn't make sense. Unless... Get out of my way or I'll burn this man to a crisp!
Kara aims the flamethrower at Clark. Kara?
Cal, those marks on your face. You're infested. You've got one of those things inside you. And it's a queen. I threatened you and they backed off because you're carrying a queen. No wonder they won't harm you.
But I feel fine. I can't be carrying one of those things.
Oh, you're carrying one. There's no doubt about that. Come on, let's move it.
What do I do now? There's always been a way before.
Look, I told you before, there's no hope. No one ever survived being infested.
I will, Kara. I have special abilities, powers. If I can get nearer to a sun to recharge, I will survive.
What is it with you? Do you get paid by the word for being such an optimist?
Don't act tough and jaded with me, Kara. You believe in the future too, or you wouldn't have beamed yourself into such a sticky situation to save me. So, thanks, again. You seem to have a knack for pulling my butt out of the fire, more than I've ever done for you.
It's not that big a deal. Maybe I'm just hoping you can get me off this rock. See, I don't mind dying. I just don't want to die here.
Your face. One of those monsters locked onto you, too. That means... Kara, I don't want you to worry about this. All I have to do is get you to a sun and we'll both survive this horror. As a Kryptonian, you'll get powers, too. You'll be fine.
Kryptonian? But I'm not Kryptonian. Are you telling me you are?
Of course. You must be, too. You speak Kryptonese. I know it sounds a little different from mine, but I thought that was just an accent.
Cal, I don't understand how you can possibly be from Krypton. I was taught that no one could ever leave that planet because they were genetically linked to it. To leave means instant death.
But why, Kara? Why is Argo so linked to my home planet?
This Argo, named after its sister city on Krypton, was originally on the planet Autoline. This was the planet of my ancestors. Long ago, a traveler came to our planet in a great spacefaring ark. This cleric was the greatest prophet my planet had ever known. He was a sad, lost soul, for he had recently left Krypton with 100,000 Kryptonians bound for paradise. But he didn't know of their genetic link to the planet. Those Kryptonians all perished shortly after departure. He told us of their noble ideas and goals, and then he honored us all by laying them to rest in Autoline's sacred frozen burial grounds. The cleric was an inspiration to my ancestors. They wanted to follow his guidance, but his despair forced him into exile.
I know the cleric. I encountered him on a lonely asteroid in one of the greatest adventures of my life, as detailed in the classic Action Comics Annual number 2.
Even though he was gone, his teachings were embraced. Autoline revered the Kryptonians and, as tribute, adopted their language and many aspects of their culture. We believed them to be spiritual protectors. But how did you get off planet? I thought it was impossible.
My father, Jor-El, developed a cure. He sent me to a planet called Earth before I was even born. Krypton died a horrible death, Kara, just like Autoline. I'm the last.
Wow. No wonder you look so disappointed. You thought Argo was from Krypton. Cal.
Clark tells Kara that Lois will help her acclimate to Earth life as they make their way to a base on the surface.
I've always wanted to live in a peaceful environment, have a semblance of family. You sure I'll fit in on Earth? That I won't stick out?
Positive.
This Lois you mentioned, she's your mate?
Pretty much. But I want you to know one thing, Kara. You speak Kryptonian. You know the culture and history. To me, you're family. Inside, they find spacesuits to wear as the air is escaping the broken dome. Their best plan is to find the wrecked ship the colonists got the alien queen and much of their technology from, though it is surrounded by the creatures.
Oh, I found this in the rocks back when I was looking for you. Seems like you and this symbol go together pretty well.
Kara has found Superman's torn symbol, and Clark dons it as an armband over his spacesuit. I can't argue with that. Let's go to work.
Lead the way, Cal.
We know the aliens won't harm me because of the queen I'm carrying. We also know they'll rip into Kara without hesitation, so we need to protect her. For that, we need a diversion. A large truck crashes through the wall into the alien horde. I don't know how intelligent those creatures are, but they went for the vehicle big time. Gave us the perfect opportunity we needed to break free.
Out of the way, uglies!
While the aliens attack the truck, a small sky cycle shoots over their heads, carrying Clark and Kara. It soon fails without an atmosphere and descends. Clark and Kara disembark and make their way down into the dark caverns of the asteroid, jumping into an abyss while Clark slows their fall, all his powers are capable of now. At the bottom, Kara lights up her flamethrower. They see a wall of xenomorphs in the darkness.
On your planet, do they ever say, "I told you so"? You want to shoot me? I don't think so. I've been in this situation once or twice before, and I know how to handle myself.
Lois kicks the gun out of Dr. Kimball's hand.
You're cold, Kimball. No wonder you fit in well at Lexcorp.
Lois socks her.
Ah! You're dead. Do you hear me? You are dead?
The alien creeps up behind Dr. Kimball.
Shh. Oh. Oh boy. Take a breath. Stay calm.
Help me! For God's sake, help me!
Why? I was tempted to let her get shredded. She deserved it.
Lois picks up the gun.
But for once, I had a weapon and a clear shot.
She fires at the alien. Blood from the alien splashes Dr. Kimball.
Ah! My arm! Come on, we only have a second or two. Feels like acid.
Lois shoots the xenomorph in its mouth.
Back!
They make it to the elevator and close the door.
Made it. We have that sucker trapped. Get security down here and we can nail him for good. We can even watch him from this view. No!
He's gone!
Kara keeps her flamethrower pointed at Clark, and it keeps the aliens off of them until they find the ship's wreckage. This looks like a good place to enter.
Exactly what are you looking for?
Anything that can help us get off this asteroid. Chances are that a ship this size had a lifeboat or something for the crew.
Eggs! That can only mean...
A queen. Easy?
No way! She won't do anything to you. Would give me the perfect chance to do this.
Kara cuts loose with a 30-second burst of flame, frying every egg inside the ship. I don't tell her that I disapprove. I guess I understand how she feels. Superman uses his fading X-ray vision to find the ship's life pods in an area still powered and blocked from scavengers.
Kara, we're in luck. Follow me.
What did you find?
A way back home.
You guys hear the rumors about some weird monster on board the space station?
Nothing to worry about, I guess. If it was, they'd sound the general alarm. Gyroscope checked out 100%.
Okay, prime the batteries for recharging. Alert control to expect the usual power surge. An alien drops down onto the scientist. Oh my. The alien cuts off the scientist's head and throws his body into the station's gyroscope.
Gyro! Oh man! The battery's wide open. It'll blow! What was that? It must be balance control. Without that, Earth's gravity will pull us into re-entry right away.
The space station begins to tilt. Argo is dying above us. Calamitous final explosions are shredding and ripping the proud city without mercy. Even though Argo isn't Kryptonian as I thought earlier, I feel overwhelmingly saddened by her death.
Maybe it's because I thought of it as Kryptonian. Maybe it's because we're so close to death ourselves.
So long, Argo. You weren't much, but you were home.
I'm sorry, Kara. I know what it's like to lose a home.
Cal, help!
Kara is grabbed by a xenomorph.
Isn't it enough that we're stranded on a dying rock with very little chance to leave? Do these monsters have to pursue us into the grave itself? I'm tired of it. Tired of your godforsaken relentlessness. Tired of your ruthless ways. And most of all, tired of your ugly faces.
Clark uses the flamethrower on the xenomorph.
Nice to see you use deadly force, Cal. I might just make a fighter out of you yet.
I told you before that I won't kill sentient beings, Kara. I plan to adhere to that principle.
They find the life pods, but their route to outside the ship is blocked. Because she knows the technology, Kara will go down to the power core and explode it to clear a path, while Superman clears the debris and programs the computer for Earth. There's a working teleporter base unit here as well, so the plan is for Kara to teleport back to the life pods once the core is set off.
Before I go, Cal, there's one thing I want you to know. You've been a spot of light that I never thought I'd see here. I love you for that, Cal.
I love you too, Kara. Hurry back, okay? Watching her run off down the hall is tough, but Kara's right. I have to stay. I'm the only one who can clear the area, and I have to do it while there's still time. Before the ship blows. Before the monsters come. Don't feel good. Something's wrong. Have to get into the pod. My chest on fire. Oh God, it's happening. That thing in me is trying to get out. Kara!
Right here, Cal. You better be ready to go, because I'm almost done. The light show is going to start in about 2 minutes.
Psh!
That's it. I'm heading for the transport booth. Be sure to beam me out before she blows, okay?
The pain. Excruciating. If I didn't have some small measure of my powers left, I'd be dead by now. Is this the fate that awaits Kara? I can't let that happen. There must be a way to save her from this. Kara, I've got the control.
I'm ready, Cal. Do it now. Bring me back.
Wait. One thing might work. Stay there, Kara. Whatever you do, don't leave the booth.
What? Why are you talking like... Hey!
The teleporter effect appears on Kara's midsection and quickly dissipates.
Cal? It didn't work. Cal? Something's coming.
Don't leave. I know what I'm doing. Stay in the booth. They're trying to get in. Got to keep them out.
A xenomorph breaks Kara's transport tube.
Time to bug out.
Kara, get back in the booth. Kara? No. The pod's launch sequence has started.
It's the Queen, Cal. She's here.
The ship will blow any minute. Have to get out and help Kara before... Ugh! Pain. So intense. The pod is starting to move. That means the whole works is going to... blow. The blast is 100 times more powerful than I expected. The city, asteroid, and aliens die in a blinding flash of light. Kara. It had to be Kara. As the pod's computer takes control and guides it on its survival run. And all remnants of a proud people are vaporized. I can't help but feel like I've lived through this before. Kara. I failed you. If you'd stayed in the transporter tube, you'd be here with me now, and you'd be fine. I found a way to save you from that alien inside. Ugh! This is it. It's coming.
Superman's chest bulges outward as the xenomorph tries to escape.
The pod is making the jump into hyperspace. One chance. If the pod drops out in Earth's solar system, close enough to the sun, my powers will return. Already feel stronger.
Superman bursts out of the pod into space.
I'm back. But it's still trying to get out. Ugh. Hurts.
Okay, you little parasite. I'm betting I can outlast you and keep you from carving me up. And that's a bet I'm not going to lose. Ugh! It works. It's gross and weird. But I eventually regurgitate the creature. Ugh. I feel wasted. Totally. Emotionally, as well as physically. All I want to do is rest. But the Lexcorp station is in trouble. Almost in Earth's atmosphere, close to burning up. This'll be tough. Gravity has a good grip on it. But I won't let anyone else die today.
We're turning over. How in the world is that possible? Superman! Superman must be back!
Superman pushes the Lexcorp station away from Earth and back up to its orbit.
But it's back too. Let's move. We can't. He's blocking the exit. Shh. Oh, God.
The alien is just about to bite Lois when Superman rams his invulnerable arm into its jaws, saving Lois and Dr. Kimball just in time. I tried to let your kind off easy, resisted the idea of killing you.
Superman.
The explosion that destroyed the asteroid, that killed your companions, was too powerful. I only wanted to clear an escape path, but Kara must have set up a chain reaction that blew everything. I look at you, and all I can think of is an entire city of people who died. And, God help me, I can't help but wonder if you should join them. Superman's heat vision flares. No, I went down that path once before. I won't do it again.
Maybe you won't. But I made a mistake too. The mistake of letting these creatures live. This welder was designed to seal a hull breach in seconds. Chances are, it can unseal you.
Dr. Kimball fries the final xenomorph with an arc welder.
Superman, I've never seen you like this before. What happened out there?
Death. Bloody, heinous death. More than I want to think about, or even talk about.
Clark, sometimes it helps to talk.
I found a city that was as close to visiting Krypton as I'll ever get. I met this girl, Kara, there. She was truly something special. Despite the harsh circumstances she was raised in, she was a spirited survivor, someone who kind of made me feel like a big brother. For a short while there, I almost felt like I had a little sister. She saved my life, Lois. She deserves to be alive, standing here in my place right now.
Are you sure she's dead? Isn't there some chance she could have made it out?
I came close to saving her. I really did. See, she had one of those creatures embedded inside her. While she was in the transporter tube, I realized there was something I could do to save her from the alien inside her. I used the transporter to teleport the alien right out of her body, but it took precious time, and before I could transport her to safety, everything went to hell. The chances of her making it to an escape pod were 0. And even if she did, she doesn't have any idea where Earth is or how to get there. I saved her from the aliens, Lois, but I couldn't save her life. She died with the asteroid. All I can do is remember her and hope that she has finally found peace. A grim-faced Kara searches for that peace among the stars. Let us all hope she finds it. The end. Well, wave goodbye to Kara, this Kara, because I don't think she's ever seen again. Supergirl would finally return as her Kara Zor-El Kryptonian self in Superman Batman around the early 2000s, courtesy of artist Michael Turner and writer Jeff Loeb. And almost but not quite versions like this Kara were soon forgotten. I really love this story because it's so unusual for a Superman story. It's not often that his powers have faded so fast and Superman's survival itself becomes the goal in a dangerous situation. I want to point this out because it's neat too. The previous year, Dan Jurgens wrote Superman Hunter Prey, which revealed the origin of Doomsday. Now in this origin, Doomsday was a humanoid child killed by a harsh ancient Krypton's environment and its native species, which bear a striking resemblance to the xenomorph in both appearance and in function, all at the insistence of a mad scientist. Doomsday eventually began to heal and evolve after being cloned from his own destroyed tissue a billion times over. But back to the creatures. In Dan's mind, did the xenomorph have a distant cousin or a missing chapter set on ancient Krypton? Or is he merely creating a close analog because they didn't have the rights to the actual creatures, and they were just perfect for what he wanted for the story? I just find it funny that it preceded this comic so closely, and there's such a similarity, that's all. Anyway, Superman vs. Aliens was followed by his sequel, God War, in which Darkseid attempts to master the xenomorph as a weapon, and Superman basically has to save him from his own plans. It's not great, and it has very little to do with our next episode, which is this ridiculousness right here. Superman and Batman vs. Aliens and Predator. It's exactly what it sounds like, and it'll be up in 2 weeks. It's only 2 issues, and I'm just including it to conclude this trilogy of Dark Horse crossovers, but the art is fantastic at least. Now, one comic in this series I might come back for someday is Green Lantern vs. Aliens, or the Batman vs. Aliens series, which is quite good. Superman vs. Predator is not that great. They're not all winners. But Green Lantern vs. Aliens, I believe, begins with Hal Jordan's story, and then it continues as a Kyle Rayner story for the other 3 issues. Something Hal runs into, and then he thinks he got a lid on it, but then Kyle comes across it. A lot of things in Green Lantern worked out that way. Anyway, neither this comic nor Batman vs. Predator do a very good job of representing what the Aliens and Predator Dark Horse solo comics were like. Each had its own fully formed history and hierarchy of powers in space and companies and characters. Most runs were small and self-contained, placed throughout their histories and focusing on large conflicts. One comic I actually still have physically is an Aliens Predator crossover titled War, which features a human woman who becomes a predator and travels with them after defeating one of their kind, is adopted into their culture and treated as a warrior, if the lowest caste one because she's a human, but still a member of their society. I always found that really interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff, in other words, and these series still have fans even today who remember them very fondly. The RoboCop comics I have read, and those are pretty good, as were the Terminator ones. Did you know the first Terminator comic came out after the first film and depicted the end of the future war? It was some of Alex Ross's earliest comics work, and if I can find it digitally, it might end up here too someday, just as an artifact of culture. In conclusion, I think the central conceit of Superman vs. Aliens is that we have a creature who Superman, himself an alien, considers truly alien to him, not because of their physiology, but rather because of their utter lack of any kind of morality or culture. In them he finds his total opposite, a pure threat from beyond the stars, as dedicated to creating horror as he is to serving altruism. He faces the internal question, what if these had landed in Kansas instead of my rocket ship, and what if I had landed on this desolate rock? Superman always comes away valuing what matters to him even more. I think the lesson he takes away from this encounter is cherishing his adopted world, Lois, and a life of relative peace more than ever. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Fusion Space. Alright, post-credits Patreon plug. While just watching is support enough, if you can, please like, comment, subscribe, or share my videos to anyone who might like them because it all really helps with the algorithm. And if you'd like to support what I do, my Patreon is up and I now have 3 commentaries up for Nightfall, The Kingdom, and Emerald Twilight, 2 of my most popular episodes and just one of my personal favorites. There are more to come. Some are filled with research and background information on the creation of the comics and their deeper meaning and importance, or some industry stories related to them. I remember a lot of related things and go off on tangents when watching the episodes, and it's only $2, which I do think is reasonable. I think they're worth that much. You get a lot of good information and extra entertainment, and I've always loved commentaries, I've watched the commentaries on every DVD I've ever got my hands on. I just love that peek behind the scenes, so I hope people get somewhat of the same experience. But for the comics world from these. Anyway, I'm really uncomfortable selling things. I've never been comfortable with it. This is the hardest I've ever tried to sell anything, really. And I feel a lot of pressure to make the commentaries entertaining and informative and worth actual money. But really, just thanks for watching. Ideas for other benefits are welcome, by the way. Okay, bye for real this time. Thanks for indulging me.